What's going on, guys? Welcome to TK's Garage 405. Today we got some 2015 Silverado 2500 truck action. You can see I look tired. It's because this truck has caused me a little grief here this week. Hasn't left me stranded, but we had a couple hiccups here, so we're going to get into that shortly. Alright guys, I'm going to show you when you drive hoopties all the time, this is the kind of stuff that happens, and this is the kind of stuff I worry about when I travel lots. So, kind of show you over here. These new phones are pretty sweet that the light turns on and sometimes, but you can see it was starting to leak quite a bit of antifreeze here. I suspect, I can't tell for sure, I don't know if you can hear me still, but I can't tell for sure, but it looks like it's the, see it's everywhere, but I think the water pump is finally capped out. This thing has 390,000 miles on it right now, which is incredible. Nothing's ever been done to this motor. I keep talking about it like I just praying nothing happens to it, but it's been such a good truck. Man, it's just... So anyways, I'm of course in the middle of nowhere now. I've luckily found an auto parts store. I actually always carry some of the stuff with me, but not that long ago I had a little leak in a hose here, so I used up the antifreeze. I do still have some other stuff, but I didn't have any K-Seal. Thank you, Roadkill. This is like the best saving stuff ever. I don't know if it's going to work in this particular case. I'm going to go start it up right now, let it run a little bit while it's kind of sitting here yakking, but just give me 1 second here. Literally can't make this stuff up. So I bought a Advanced Auto Parts premium water pump here, which was like the only one they had anyways, but $230. So yeah, here we are. Like I said, you can't make this stuff up. So K-Seal in it. I've actually done this to this truck already before when I had a leaking radiator last year, New Year's Eve. Part 2 of this debacle here. See the temperature gauge there, but it keeps fluctuating. It was actually almost overheating there, and I slowed down and just kind of let it idle almost. It was like, I don't know if it just got still low on antifreeze or some air bubbles in there or something else is going on, but it's not happy now. So I was just trying to drive it to the next gas station here so I could kind of park for the night, see what I could figure out tomorrow, check all the fluids and everything tomorrow and see how it goes here. But just making my way over to that. I got another 15 minutes to go, so hopefully I can make it here. It was almost borderline. Oh, it pretty well was just about on the red line there, so definitely don't want to keep driving it like this until I figure out this situation, but that's the update for now. We'll see how I make out here. You can see we're up around 230 here. As soon as I pull a hill a little bit, it starts climbing. I got the heat blaring in here, trying to keep it a little bit cool. I messed up when I put the K-Seal in it. You're supposed to put supposed to turn the temperature all the way down, and I just completely spaced it and the heat was still on, so I hope it didn't get in the heater core, but I don't know if that would cause this issue. It's a possibility if it wasn't flowing, but yeah, hopefully I didn't cause some other problems. I only put about half the bottle in this time. I usually just put a little bit and see, because I try not to really put that stuff in there if I absolutely don't have to, but yeah, looks like it's dropping a little bit again here, but trying to make it there. What an ordeal. I don't know why out of the blue like that. I drove it for probably 20 miles before it even started acting up. You can see there it's climbing again as soon as I get to these hills, so I'm going to cut off here because I'm going to pay attention. Just hit 390,000 miles. Of course, something like this has to happen. I heard it squealing this morning when I was like outside, so I lifted up the hood. By the time I came and checked, I didn't really see anything, so it must have just been getting something a little wet, or maybe the bearing in the water pump is going bad. I'm really honestly not too sure what's happening there. Probably like 10 more minutes to go here. Just trying to fumble through here. I don't really have any place to pull off and stop to even check, but it's so hot I wouldn't be able to really do anything with that. Anyways, if it was overheating I would pull over, but it's not quite. It's fluctuating up and down, probably like 210 to 230. It's funny because ever since I had this truck, it's always run at 210, like ever since the day I bought it. Just never changed. I never worried about it, but definitely it was getting a little bit warm earlier, but I don't know if it was just just, like I said, a little air bubble or air blip or whatever there. Something going on here anyways, so I'm hoping maybe it's just low on fluid a little bit or something, because it didn't seem like, for how much it was leaking there, like I filled it up like enough to actually get it to be full again. So maybe it's just a little bit low and that's causing this. So once I get stopped here in about 10 minutes or so, I guess I'll let it cool down and check it again and probably see what's happening. What's up, guys? It is morning. You guys have seen my truck before. I have a truck camper on the back and I carry a generator with me. Yeah, so here's the situation. I rolled over 390,000 miles last night. You can see now that it's actually daylight out here. It was overheating on the way here. I only went about, I don't know, maybe like 30 miles or something, but it was starting to overheat under load, and I figured it was probably low because it didn't seem like it took very much. So I let it cool off till this morning, obviously, and you can kind of see, we'll open it up here. The tank did not have, I don't think there's, yeah, you can see there's nothing in it. So when I stopped last night, I let it idle. Like it only really kind of started to overheat the one time there. It was getting warm a few times, but that was like kind of when it was under throttle. So I think what happened was it was low, because when I stopped last night and I let it idle, the truck wasn't, hopefully I didn't kill the battery there with my door open. Yeah, holy God, you can see there's just antifreeze everywhere here too. But yeah, when I let it idle there, the heater wouldn't even throw any heat. So yeah, anyways, we're going to add some antifreeze to it here this morning, and then I'm gonna let it warm up and then hopefully get on with my day here. It seemed like other than what I had spilled there, that the leak had stopped there. So I'm gonna shut this off because my hands are freezing. It is like, I think it's like 4 degrees right now. So it's time to cut off here, get my truck started so I can get warmed up, and I'll check back later. Well guys, it's freaking cold out here this morning, but I started the truck, let it warm up for 5 minutes, and then went to hit the road here. And I mean, as soon as I pulled on the interstate there, it immediately went back. I was almost touching 260 there. When I get off the throttle a little bit, it backs off or whatever. So I don't know, it must still be low a little bit. Like when I filled it right to the full line, but I don't know if it's just burping the system because it was that low. I don't know how it could have been that low. I was driving it before that and it wasn't overheating, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening here, but it's like 9 degrees now, so it's still freaking cold. Yeah, I just went into Love's for a little bit there and came out, and yeah, not good here though, so I'm just gonna hobble it to the next stop, I guess. You can see it's climbing like pretty good there. I might have to pull over here yet, actually. You can see it's almost getting to like 260 again. I'm gonna pull off at this exit here. Not exactly sure. That means I'm gonna have to wait for it to cool down again in order to actually open up the reservoir. I don't get it. It's like, I don't know how I've already put a full gallon of antifreeze in it here, so I'm not sure exactly why it would be that low. I can't really see it being much lower than that. Like I said, I was driving it yesterday totally fine. But okay, I will check back here in a little bit again. This is turning out to be quite the ordeal here. Alright guys, starting to look like I'm doing a Prestone commercial here, so that was getting pretty expensive. These things are like $15 a jug, and I guess this isn't too bad. I suppose this is my second jug going in right away here, but I stopped at Walmart, picked up 4 more jugs because I know when I go to change the water pump, I'm gonna end up needing them anyways. So yeah, that's where we're at. I let it cool off, went to Walmart for an hour. I bought a CarQuest water pump for it. It's supposed to be their premium one, which is the only one they had anyways. So I'm going to fill it up and start it with the cap open this time and see if maybe it'll just burp itself, because I don't know if, I really don't understand. There's antifreeze on the ground here. I don't know where it would have come from though. To be honest, like, it doesn't really make sense to me here because I don't see it really leaking out of the, the same spot anymore. Like, see how this is all dry? Remember last night there when I kind of did this, it was all wet up there. So whatever was leaking, I believe the K-seal has stopped, but maybe it's just burping out some antifreeze because it's getting warm. So, all right, I'm gonna top off, shut this off here, because otherwise I'm gonna spill over the place like I did last night. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna see if I can get this thing working good enough to get home anyways. So all right, guys. Frustrating situation with this stupid leak here, but yeah, I stopped this morning. I drove it that little bit there you saw earlier in the video there. It didn't totally overheat, but it was getting pretty warm a couple times there. I think I got it resolved. I think what was happening is it was just low enough that it was almost making it overheat there. Don't know why exactly, because I ended up putting 2.5 gallons in it, which is that's a ton of antifreeze for something. So I think what was happening maybe is it was kind of getting warm, it was blowing out the overflow. So because when I stopped there was antifreeze there again. So I think why this started all leaking like this, because this truck has a lot of miles on it, but I don't know, maybe it's just from age. But my theory here is, so if you guys watch back my videos there, when I had this truck a while ago there, probably 6 months ago, I ended up having, actually it was probably about a year ago, I ended up having a radiator go bad in it. And then it sat around for a bit there, got the radiator fixed on it. I put a new radiator in it actually. The local mechanic did it there in Iowa. And so after I did that, shortly after that, then the transmission went, and one thing led to another here. But sort of kind of long story short of what I'm thinking is going on here. So more recently, the transmission went again. And when we realized that, we realized it was from the radiator. So when they put a new transmission in it, they put a new radiator in it again, because it must have cracked the core of the radiator for some reason. New one, just defective or something like that. And so it was getting antifreeze into the transmission. That's why this one new transmission I put in only lasted a little bit there, and then it burnt out again because it was getting antifreeze in it. We didn't realize it. I think it was already happening when they put the first transmission in it, but they didn't realize it because they just swapped the transmission and didn't really check anything. I thought they had rebuilt that transmission, but they actually were just a transmission swap shop. That's not what they told me at the time, but that's what they were doing. So anyways, this last transmission shop actually rebuilds them. And so when they pulled it apart, they realized that the radiator was bad. So they put a radiator in it, put a transmission in it. Well, when they did that, they refilled it all with deck school. And I know for a fact that this truck hadn't had deck school since I've owned it. And so there was a couple times where I had a couple little drips and stuff, I think just hoses or whatever that were clamp loose or something like that. And I know I've always topped it up with just mixed green, basically. And so I suspect when they put that Dex Cool in it, which wasn't that long ago here, it started doing the thing that Dex Cool does and started eating up gaskets or whatever, right? Everybody has had Dex Cool, I'm sure, has had the same issue. That was a problem. I believe that was a big problem with those LT1 water pumps, and a lot of if you look at remember the Montana vans, Venture vans, all those 3.4 liters, stuff like that, they all had the problem with it. Eating up the head gaskets, and then most of the time when people would change them, they would flush it and they would just put green back into it. GM said not to do that, but that's what a lot of people were doing. So I feel like that was the problem here. It's lost a lot of antifreeze now. I'm sure there's still some Dex Cool in it, but like I said, I put 2.5 gallons in it here already. So I drove it around a little bit and it didn't get warm. It was right at 210 where it's always been. So I kind of wonder if it actually was getting as hot as it was kind of showing on the gauge, or if it was just because it was kind of like touching the sensor briefly because it was low, and so maybe it was getting like a false reading there, but I don't know exactly. But so anyways, I'm 1,000 miles from home here. I might do something stupid and go look for a car here yet, because I found a couple of deals, so might go check out a couple while I'm here before I actually head back. It's started to warm up here. I'm in Virginia, right on the border of Virginia and Tennessee here. So I guess I will probably try to hit the road here and I guess see if everything works okay and whatnot here, and then I guess I'll go from there. If there's no problems, then I'll probably just touch base and wrap this video up here. But yeah, like I said, this truck's got 390,000 miles on it, a lot of miles. That's all it's ever done is towed. It's just been a work truck. It's always had this camper that you see in the back ever since, I mean, I've had it anyways, and before that it always towed. So all right guys, just over at Love's here, gonna maybe go wash my window. Oh no, what do you guys think? Yeah, probably not, hey? Morning guys. So this is kind of where we're at here. Ironically, you guys have kind of seen me struggling with this thing for a couple days here. So yesterday morning there, when I topped up the fluid, I put the couple gallons or whatever it was in there, and I let it idle with the bottle open this time, and then I just added a little bit more. It seemed like it kind of blipped the system there, and I put the lid back on, the cap back on for the antifreeze, and I decided, because I'm stupid, that I was gonna drive all the way to all the way up to Maryland anyway. So I'm actually back at the same exact spot I was yesterday. So I drove all the way up to Maryland and back 500 miles instead of just going home and trying to fix this thing like I should have. Obviously the K seal worked here, because you can see it's not leaking anything. So yeah, that's kind of, I think we'll be okay to hopefully fumble my way home. Like I said, I'm still, I think, about 1,000 miles from home yet here, so the weather's finally warming up. It's a beautiful day out here today. We're at like 31 degrees this morning. It's been so cold here that even if I wanted to do that water pump, I wouldn't have really wanted to attempt it. It was just way too cold here. So I'm going to probably try to start making my way home, I think. I said that, so when I started it yesterday morning there, and even this morning, it kind of sounded maybe just a tad rattly. I don't know if I'm just listening to it a little more than I did before, but I think it's actually just, it's always had an exhaust leak. They kind of fixed one part of it there last time it was in I guess for the first transmission. They said it was just a minor, but it still it was like a little bit of noise there, so it never really did fully go away. And I think that's what I'm hearing, because another problem I've been having with this truck recently there, and I'll show you guys that pretty soon. I run 1540 in this thing all the time, and I run Lucas oil in it all the time. I have ever since the day I bought it. When I change oil, I run. So what I'll do usually in the wintertime here, and I didn't the last oil change because it was still fairly warm here this year. Normally in the wintertime, I'll do like a quart of like synthetic to 5 quarts of just regular 1540. So I'll do like 1540 synthetic Rotella to 5 quarts of regular Rotella. And then once it's running, I always add like a quart of Lucas to it. Maybe not a quart. It's probably honestly not even that much. It's maybe like, I probably add like a couple of cups of Lucas to it every time or whatever while it's running. After I started and I've changed oil, I add it while it's running. But so more recently here, in the mornings there, the oil is so stiff, and I think I went over on my last oil change, and that's when it started. I was really over. And so when you start it, it's got good oil pressure right off the bat there, but if you drive it immediately and you get on the throttle, it's like it's kind of like gummed up around the pickup tube. And so I did something to sort of resolve that. I haven't posted that video yet, but I'll kind of show you that. I'm probably going to do it again on this next oil change. So that's the other problem I've been having with this thing. So I just let it warm up. Once the oil is warmed up a little bit more, it doesn't do that. So I just kind of hadn't noticed it. I actually had a bit of a fix for it, but now here I go again. It's been so cold, we don't have a shop. I changed my own oil and it's been freezing outside, so I'm running over my oil change again, and I hate doing that. I do feel better about it running Rotella, but I just hate doing that. I like 99% of the time that I've had this truck, it's never been over on oil changes. So it's just not something I like to do. So anyways, unless I have any more eventful things here, I will probably post them on like next week's video, but that's kind of where we're at here. So yeah, like I said, this truck, I think it's got about 391-ish thousand miles on it now, and still going pretty strong here. I don't know, I've been contemplating buying like a new 6.6 gasser truck there, but not really sure if I would just buy it and keep it as a spare and not really put miles on it until I need it to. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of feeling it out here. Maybe you guys have some opinions on that or whatever. But all right guys, well, make sure you guys follow, like, and subscribe. Help me grow the channel here. Appreciate all the support so far. Gained quite a few followers here recently. I know it's still a pretty small account compared to anybody else. I'm just fairly new to this and just learning. Finally just starting to do very, very little editing to these videos here, but said you can see trying to make some improvements here and whatnot. But yeah, said I'm gonna try to fumble my way home here, and I guess we'll go from there. Catch you guys on the next one. Thanks guys.